Have you ever caught yourself hesitating before taking a step, wondering if your balance is just not what it used to be? It's a quiet struggle many of us face as we get older. Sometimes we grab onto furniture more than we'd like or find ourselves shuffling instead of walking with confidence. I've been there too, feeling that little nagging worry every time I stood up or crossed a room. It's frustrating and sometimes a bit scary, isn't it? But here's something that might surprise you. This isn't just getting old. Our bodies have amazing systems that keep us steady. Our inner ear, our muscles, and even how we see the world. And when those systems get a little quiet from sitting too much or moving less, balance can slip away. The good news? You don't have to accept it as your new normal. There are simple, gentle exercises you can do every day that can help wake up those systems and bring back the confidence in your steps. No fancy equipment or long hours at the gym. Just easy movements that reconnect your body and brain in a way that feels natural. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 3 powerful exercises that have helped so many seniors regain their balance and freedom. You deserve to feel steady and sure on your feet again. So tell me, have you noticed changes in your balance lately? Let's walk this path together. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. Exercise 1. Heel walks. Have you ever noticed how something as simple as walking, something you've done for decades, can suddenly feel a little bit foreign? Maybe you find yourself glancing down more often, double-checking where your feet are landing, or perhaps you've caught your toe on a rug or the edge of a step, heart pounding with the jolt of almost falling. If so, you're certainly not alone. For so many of us, the simple act of moving from one room to another or strolling down the driveway can become a surprising source of worry as we get older. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Let me tell you about a woman named Edna, a neighbor and friend of mine, who first brought heel walks into my world. Edna had always been fiercely independent. She'd raised her children, cared for her garden, and even helped run the local church's bake sale every year. But not long after her 70th birthday, something shifted. She began to slow down, just a little at first. She would reach for the arm of her chair before standing and occasionally bump her foot against the leg of her coffee table. One day, she tripped on the sidewalk outside her home. Nothing serious, but enough to shake her confidence. "I just don't feel steady anymore," she confessed one afternoon over coffee, her hands wrapped tightly around the mug. Her story might sound familiar to you. The truth is, the changes in our bodies are often so gradual that we don't notice them until something startling happens. A trip, a stumble, a lingering fear that wasn't there before. And while many people chalk this up to aging, the reality is more hopeful. Our bodies are still capable of learning, adapting, and even recovering lost skills, if we give them the right kind of encouragement. That's where heel walks come in. You might wonder how something so simple, a movement that requires no equipment, no trainer, no fancy clothes, can make a difference. But sometimes, it's the smallest, most mindful changes that unlock the most powerful results. Let's break down why heel walks matter, and why they're not just another exercise fad. To start, it's important to know a little about how we walk, and what can go wrong as we age. When we're young, our feet roll smoothly from heel to toe, our toes lift naturally, and our muscles fire in perfect timing to keep us moving forward. But over the years, especially if we become less active or spend more time sitting, some of these automatic motions begin to fade. The muscles on the front of our lower legs, the tibialis anterior in particular, get less use. This muscle, while it sounds like medical jargon, is the very one responsible for pulling your toes up off the ground as your heel strikes. When it weakens, you're more likely to shuffle, drag your feet, or catch your toes on uneven surfaces. That's when accidents happen. But here's the hope. The connection between your brain and those foot-lifting muscles isn't lost. It's simply out of practice. Heel walks are a way to turn that connection back on, to retrain your nervous system, wake up those sleepy muscles, and bring back the kind of foot awareness that keeps you safe and steady. If you've never done a heel walk before, picture this. You stand tall, shoulders back but relaxed, arms swinging gently at your sides. Instead of walking normally, you lift your toes so they point upward toward the ceiling, leaving only your heels touching the floor. You take a step forward, landing on your heel, keeping your toes up, and then the next step and the next. Your arms swing in rhythm, just as they would if you were out for a morning stroll. It looks almost comical at first, and you might feel a bit awkward. Edna sure did when she tried it the first time, giggling at her reflection in the hallway mirror. "I look like a penguin," she laughed. But within moments, she could feel something happening. A little burn in the front of her shins, an awareness of each step, and most importantly, a sense of control. There's science behind that feeling. Every step you take in a heel walk is a tiny training session for the neuromuscular system, the network of nerves and muscles that controls movement. By exaggerating the motion of lifting your toes, you force your brain to pay closer attention. You're not just going through the motions. You're building a stronger, faster connection. Think of it as rebooting the software that runs your walking program. Edna made heel walks part of her daily routine. Each morning before breakfast, she'd walk the length of her hallway back and forth, toes high, arms swinging. At first, she managed only a few steps before her legs tired, but over time, her endurance grew. She began to notice she wasn't tripping over her slippers anymore. The small stumble on the porch step stopped happening. She started looking forward to her morning walks, even adding a little music, her favorite, Ella Fitzgerald, to keep her moving. Why does this work? Because heel walks address not just muscle strength, but also coordination and attention. Most falls don't happen because a person is weak. They happen in a moment of distraction, or because the foot doesn't lift quite high enough, or because the body is out of sync with itself. Heel walks force your mind and body to reconnect, to make each step conscious, deliberate, and safe. You're retraining not only the foot muscles but also the brain's response to the ground beneath you. And the beauty is, you don't need to do heel walks for hours. Research shows that even 30 to 60 seconds a day, 1 or 2 trips down the hallway, can have a meaningful impact over time. If you have more space, take your heel walks through the living room or down a long driveway. If you feel unsteady, keep a hand near a sturdy surface, like a countertop or the back of a sofa, until you feel more confident. Some people worry they're too old to see real change, or that it's too late to start. But nothing could be further from the truth. The nervous system remains adaptable throughout life. Even after decades of less activity, your brain is always looking for new ways to improve efficiency and safety, especially if you give it the right signals. You might wonder, will this make a difference for me? Let me share another story, this time from a gentleman named Bill. Bill had always prided himself on his independence, but after a minor stroke, he found his right foot dragging slightly, causing him to stumble more often. His physical therapist introduced him to heel walks as a way to rebuild both strength and awareness. Bill started with just 5 steps, holding onto his kitchen counter, but by the end of the first month, he was up to 3 laps around his dining table. "It's not just that I feel steadier," he told me. "It's that I trust my own feet again." Trust, that's the real gift of this exercise. So much of balance is about confidence, about knowing that your body will do what you ask of it when you ask. Heel walks restore that trust step by step, day by day. And if you ever feel silly or self-conscious, just remember, every great change starts with a single, sometimes awkward, step. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Of course, safety comes first. If you have trouble balancing, make sure to start heel walks in a hallway where you can touch the wall, or ask a friend or family member to walk with you. Wear comfortable, supportive shoes. Avoid slippers or socks on slick floors. Start slowly, and don't push past your comfort zone. The goal is not speed, but mindful movement. Over time, you may notice other benefits too. People who make heel walks a habit often report less stiffness in their ankles and knees, better posture, and even fewer aches in their lower back. Why? Because when you lift your toes and roll your foot from heel to toe, you naturally straighten your spine and engage your core. Your whole body participates in the movement, not just your legs. Some folks like to pair heel walks with breathing exercises. Try inhaling as you step forward, exhaling as you land each heel. This rhythm helps calm the mind and keeps you focused on the task at hand. You might even find that heel walks become a meditative practice, a quiet moment in your day when you check in with yourself and celebrate what your body can still do. For Edna, heel walks became more than just an exercise. They were a daily victory. She told me, "Every morning I do my little walk, and I remind myself I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm not giving up." That attitude is as important as any physical benefit. Resilience, optimism, and a sense of humor go a long way in making new habits stick. If you'd like to make heel walks part of your routine, here are a few tips to get started. Begin with just 30 seconds, once or twice a day. Focus on quality, not quantity. Keep your toes up, heels down, and arms swinging. If you get tired or wobbly, stop and rest. Gradually increase your distance as you gain strength and confidence. Celebrate small milestones. Every extra step is progress. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of seniors across the country who are taking control of their balance, one step at a time. Some even share their progress online, posting little updates or videos for encouragement. If you have a friend or loved one who might benefit, invite them to join you. Heel walks are simple enough to do together, and sometimes a bit of company is all the motivation you need. As you continue practicing, pay attention to how you feel, not just physically, but emotionally. Does your confidence grow? Do you start to trust your body again? Do you find yourself moving more easily through your day? These are the quiet victories that add up to a better quality of life. There's a certain magic in doing something so simple, so familiar, and discovering that it still holds the power to change you. Walking is one of life's great pleasures. Don't let fear or unsteadiness steal it away. With heel walks, you're giving yourself the gift of movement, freedom, and the joyful independence that everyone deserves, no matter their age. And if there are days when you feel discouraged, when your balance seems stubborn or your body just isn't cooperating, remember Edna's laughter, Bill's persistence, and your courage in showing up. Progress isn't always fast, and it's rarely perfect, but every effort you make is a victory worth celebrating. Let's step into this day, heel first, with hope, with gratitude, and with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are taking care of yourself, one small movement at a time. Heel walks may look simple, but in reality, they are a powerful declaration. I am still moving forward. I am not finished yet. And truly, you are just getting started. Exercise 2. Side-to-side weight shifts. There's a quiet wisdom that comes with age. An understanding of how the little things, the moments most people don't even notice, can sometimes mean the most. Take, for example, the simple act of shifting your weight from one foot to the other. It sounds almost laughably basic, doesn't it? And yet, as we grow older, the subtle art of balance, especially from side to side, reveals itself as one of the great guardians of our independence. It's a skill that, if overlooked, can slip away almost unnoticed until one day you feel it missing. If you've ever found yourself pausing before stepping sideways to get into the car, hesitating as you turn to greet someone, or wobbling a bit while reaching for something on a high shelf, you're not alone. For many, these small movements, so natural in youth, become tricky ground after 65. The truth is that life rarely moves in straight lines. We twist, we turn, we bend and reach, and our bodies must keep up. But what happens when our muscles and joints are no longer asked to stabilize us sideways? They forget. The body, so clever at conserving energy, lets those balance skills fade. But, as with any forgotten language, you can relearn it. And you might even have a little fun along the way. Let me introduce you to a friend of mine, Henry. Henry is 81 and still walks his old golden retriever, Max, every morning, rain or shine. But last winter, Henry took a tumble. Not on ice, not during a sprint, but simply turning to pick up Max's leash by the door. It was the silliest thing, Henry admitted. 1 second I was fine, the next I was on my hip, staring at the ceiling. It shook his confidence to the core. Suddenly, every side step, every twist or turn, became a moment of doubt. That's when Henry's daughter, a physical therapist, suggested the side-to-side weight shift. She explained it in plain terms. Dad, you need to remind your body how to find the center again. She stood next to him, feet hip-width apart, both of them facing the living room window. Don't lift your feet, she said. Just shift your weight gently from one side to the other, like you're standing in a small boat. At first, Henry felt silly. He was convinced he should be moving faster, lifting his feet, doing something more athletic. But he followed her lead, letting his weight settle into his right foot, then back to center, then into his left. It felt odd at first, he told me later, but also kind of soothing. There's real science behind this. When you shift your weight from side to side, you are asking your ankles, knees, hips, and core muscles to wake up, to do their job keeping you upright. This movement retrains your proprioceptors, those tiny sensors in your joints that tell your brain where your body is in space. As we age, if we don't practice these subtle shifts, those sensors start to fade. The good news? They're still there. You just have to invite them back to the party. In the beginning, Henry practiced his weight shifts by the kitchen counter, hands hovering just above for support. He would stand tall, feet a little wider than his shoulders, arms relaxed, and simply breathe. As he exhaled, he'd let his weight drift gently to the right foot, noticing the pressure increase under his sole. With his next breath, he'd come back to center, then shift left. His posture stayed upright, his shoulders relaxed, and his breath, that was key, flowed easily, never held. It's not about tensing your muscles, but about letting your body sway, grounded and easy, like a reed in the breeze. After a week, Henry felt a change. He wasn't just steadier on his feet, he was calmer. It's funny, he said. That gentle swaying helped me let go of the fear. When his grandkids came over, they'd join in, making a game of seeing who could shift their weight the slowest, or who could hold their posture the longest without wobbling. It brought laughter back into Henry's home, and bit by bit, his confidence returned. Side-to-side weight shifts are powerful because they target a balance system often neglected in modern life. Most of us walk in straight lines, sit in supportive chairs, and rarely have to adjust quickly in unpredictable directions. But in the real world, falls are most likely to happen when you lose balance sideways, stepping out of a car, dodging a playful pet, turning too quickly. This exercise rehearses those very scenarios in a safe, controlled way, so your body remembers how to react when it matters. You might wonder, can something so gentle truly make a difference? The answer is a resounding yes. Studies show that even 1 minute of focused weight shifts daily can improve lateral stability, reduce fear of falling, and help retrain your balance system at any age. And perhaps more importantly, it helps rebuild your relationship with your own body, replacing anxiety with awareness, hesitation with quiet confidence. Let's walk through how you might add this exercise into your life. Begin somewhere safe, a hallway, a sturdy table, or near a wall. Stand with your feet about hip-width apart, comfortable, not forced. Let your arms hang loosely at your sides. Now, take a breath in, and as you exhale, let your weight pour into your right foot. You're not lifting the left foot, just letting the right take the load. Pause, breathe, and then drift gently back to the center. Repeat on the left. There's no need to rush. The slower, the better. Notice the subtle muscles at work, your ankles adjusting, your core engaging, your posture growing tall and strong. Some people like to add a gentle rhythm, breathing in as they move right and out as they come back. Others prefer music, letting a favorite tune set the pace. However you do it, make it a ritual, a daily reminder that you are in control of your balance, one shift at a time. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If you find your mind wandering, try focusing on the sensation of your feet against the floor. Notice the texture of your carpet or the coolness of the hardwood. Feel the weight of your body as it moves, the strength in your legs as they support you. Each shift is a conversation between your brain and your muscles, a gentle nudge that says, "Wake up, we need you." You may also find that this exercise quiets your mind. For Henry, it became a form of moving meditation. "I started looking forward to those few minutes," he said. "It was just me, Max napping on the rug, and a feeling of peace I hadn't had in a while." In a world that often feels rushed, the simple act of standing still and swaying can be deeply grounding. Of course, progress isn't always linear. Some days, your balance may feel strong. Other days, it may waver. That's normal. The key is consistency, not perfection. Even on tougher days, a few gentle shifts can keep the habit alive. And over time, you'll notice subtle victories. Feeling more stable stepping out of the shower, less nervous climbing into the car, and more relaxed dancing at a family wedding. There's no need to set records. Start with 5 or 10 shifts, then add more as you feel comfortable. If you like, close your eyes for a second or two, but only when you feel safe. Closing your eyes removes the visual crutch and forces your inner sense of balance to take over. But always prioritize safety. No rushing, no pushing past your comfort zone. This exercise isn't just for the living room, either. Practice it while you brush your teeth, wait for the kettle to boil, or stand in line at the grocery store. Anywhere you can safely stand and shift, you're building strength and stability. Make it a part of your life, not just your exercise routine. It's also perfectly normal to feel a little silly at first. Remember, every person who's ever learned to ride a bike, play the piano, or speak a new language has had to be a beginner. There's dignity and courage in starting something new. If you find it helpful, invite a friend or partner to join you. Shared laughter and encouragement can turn even the simplest movement into a moment of joy. For some, like Henry, the benefits of side-to-side weight shifts extend beyond the physical. They can be a reminder to go with the flow, to adapt to life's twists and turns with grace and resilience. Balance, after all, isn't just about not falling. It's about meeting life where you are, swaying when you need to, and always finding your way back to the center. If you like, keep a little journal. Write down how many shifts you did each day, or how you felt before and after. Over weeks and months, these notes become a record of progress, a reminder that you are moving forward, even when change is hard to see. It's easy to underestimate the power of a small shift. But over time, these little movements can change your entire outlook. They restore trust in your body, remind you of your strength, and perhaps most importantly, give you the confidence to move through the world with curiosity and hope. Let's not forget the emotional weight of falling, or even just fearing a fall. It can shrink your world, make you avoid activities you once loved, and sap the joy from daily life. But every time you practice your weight shifts, you're pushing back against that fear. You're telling your body and mind, I'm still here. I'm still moving. I trust myself. And that's a message worth repeating day after day. Henry's story has a happy continuation. A few months after that fall, he told me, "You know, I don't even think about turning around anymore. I just do it." He and Max walk a little farther now, and when his great-grandkids visit, they play a game. Who can do the slowest, smoothest weight shift while balancing a bean bag on their head? The laughter that fills Henry's living room is proof. Sometimes the simplest exercises bring the greatest rewards. So, if you've ever hesitated before moving sideways, or felt your confidence waver with a twist or a turn, give yourself this gentle gift. The side-to-side weight shift is more than just an exercise. It's a practice in patience, presence, and self-compassion. With every gentle sway, you're reclaiming not just your balance, but your sense of independence and joy. Take it slow. Enjoy the process. Celebrate every shift, every small victory, and remember, you are stronger and more adaptable than you think. Your balance, both in body and in life, is always waiting to be rediscovered, one gentle movement at a time. Exercise 3, Vestibular Challenge Drill, Head Turns on One Leg. There's a quiet moment, perhaps in the middle of an ordinary day, when you realize just how much the world asks you to move and respond. Maybe it's the distant sound of your name called from the kitchen, the cheerful bark of a neighbor's dog, or the gentle clatter of a delivery at your doorstep. In those moments, you turn your head instinctively, sometimes even as you rise to your feet or pivot your body. For most of life, these quick movements are barely a thought. But for many of us, as the years pass, turning the head or changing direction while standing isn't as simple or as steady as it once was. There might be a split second of dizziness, a strange sensation of being unbalanced, or a wave of hesitation. It's the body's gentle warning, a whisper from the inner ear. Pay attention now, things have changed. I remember the first time I noticed it in myself. It wasn't dramatic. I was in my kitchen, humming along to a favorite tune while unloading groceries. The phone rang, a familiar trill, and as I turned my head to glance at the caller ID, I felt the world lag just a second behind my eyes. It was subtle but unmistakable. I paused, waited for the ground to feel certain beneath me again, and then carried on, a little more aware, a little more careful. It's easy to brush these moments off as just part of getting older. But, much like those little stumbles and wobbles we sometimes feel when walking, this isn't only about age. It's about systems inside us that, when underused, lose their sharpness. The good news? Those systems, especially the remarkable vestibular system in your inner ear, can be awakened, retrained, and made strong again. Let's talk a little about the magic behind your balance. Deep inside your ears, in a labyrinth of tiny canals filled with fluid, lives the vestibular system. This quiet hero is constantly sending signals to your brain, telling it how your head is moving, which way you're facing, how fast you've turned, and whether you're steady or tilting. When you were young, this system was as responsive as a hummingbird's wings, keeping you upright whether you danced, spun, or skipped. Over time, especially if you move less, sit more, or avoid turning your head quickly, your vestibular system loses a bit of its edge. It stops sending signals as quickly. Your brain, in turn, takes a little longer to process them. That's when the world feels off-kilter, if only for a moment. But here's the wonderful truth. Your body and brain are still eager to work together, to recalibrate, to help you move through the world with confidence. They just need a little encouragement, a gentle, safe challenge that reawakens the connection. That's exactly what the vestibular challenge drill is designed to do. The first time I saw this exercise, I'll admit, I was skeptical. Stand on one leg? Turn my head from side to side? It sounded like something reserved for a yoga class or a circus, not a regular person like me, let alone someone in their 60s or 70s. But then I met Marjorie. Marjorie is the sort of neighbor everyone hopes for. Quick with a smile, generous with her time, and never shy about sharing a homemade pie. A few years ago, after a mild bout of vertigo, she found herself unsteady. Even walking to her mailbox felt risky, especially if she had to look over her shoulder for traffic or wave to a friend. "It's not that my legs are weak," she told me one afternoon over lemonade. "It's just that when I turn my head, I don't trust where I'll land." Her physical therapist suggested the vestibular challenge drill, and Marjorie decided to give it a try. She invited me over to join her for moral support. There we stood, in her cozy living room, facing a patch of clear wall. Marjorie explained the drill as she learned it. Stand with one foot on the ground, the other foot lightly touching the wall for mental reference, not for support. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides, stand tall but soft in the knees, and most importantly, move your head slowly and gently from side to side. Think of it like scanning the horizon, Marjorie said, her eyes twinkling. Not whipping your head around like you've seen a ghost. She smiled at her joke and began, turning her head slowly to the right, then back to the left, eyes fixed on an imaginary horizon. I watched her posture, upright, steady, a little tension in her standing leg, but not rigid. She kept her movements slow, her breathing even, and after a few cycles, she paused. At first, I felt dizzy, Marjorie confessed. But I just waited. I let the world catch up to me. Over time, the dizzy spells faded. Her confidence returned. She started moving more easily through her day, glancing over her shoulder, turning to greet friends, even dancing at her granddaughter's wedding. There's real science behind Marjorie's success. By standing on one leg while turning your head, you're not just challenging your balance. You're retraining your brain to handle the combination of head movement and single leg stance. This is how you live in the real world. Every day, you might turn to answer a question, react to a sound, or scan your surroundings as you walk. Practicing this movement in a safe, controlled way helps your vestibular system send quicker, clearer signals. Your proprioceptive system, the body's network of sensors in the joints and muscles, also gets a workout, learning to stabilize you over one foot. The key to success is to start gently. If you've never tried this before, begin by standing near a wall or sturdy piece of furniture. Place one foot firmly on the ground, and the other foot lightly against the wall for reference. Keep your posture upright, knees slightly bent, and arms relaxed. Now, slowly turn your head to the right, pause, then to the left, and pause again. Move only as far as feels comfortable, and always at your own pace. The goal is not to induce dizziness, but to allow your brain and inner ear to process movement gradually. If you ever feel lightheaded, stop, rest, and try again later. What's remarkable is how quickly the body can adapt. After just a few weeks, Marjorie noticed that looking over her shoulder no longer felt uncertain. She felt steadier standing in line at the grocery store, less anxious getting out of bed at night, and more relaxed on her walks. The drill became a ritual, a daily check-in with her balance, a gentle challenge that kept her feeling young at heart. If you'd like to make this exercise part of your routine, consider these tips. Safety first. Always practice where you can grab onto something if needed, a countertop, sturdy chair, or even a friend's supportive arm. Start with your eyes open. Visual input helps your brain orient itself. Only try closing your eyes once you feel very steady and secure. Keep movements slow. Quick head turns can trigger dizziness before your brain is ready. Focus on smooth, controlled motions. Pay attention to your standing leg. Don't lock your knee. Keep it slightly bent, ready to adjust to tiny shifts in balance. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Practice regularly. Even 20 to 30 seconds on each side, once or twice a day, can yield remarkable improvements over time. Some days will feel easy, others more challenging. That's perfectly normal. Every effort counts, and each repetition is a message to your brain. I am practicing, I am improving, I am safe. This drill, humble as it seems, can open up the world again. It's the difference between dreading a crowded sidewalk and strolling with ease. It's the reassurance that you can answer the phone, greet a neighbor, or pivot to catch a falling dish without worry. Marjorie sometimes laughs about her progress. I feel like an owl these days, she jokes, turning her head with ease. Except I don't have to spin it all the way around. Her sense of humor is as important as her persistence. She reminds me and herself that growth isn't always linear. Some days you wobble, some days you stand tall. What matters is showing up, trying again, and celebrating each step. If you'd like to keep it interesting, try varying the drill. Stand on your right leg, then your left. Try a gentle head tilt up and down, in addition to side, but only if you feel steady. Over time, you might notice improvements not just in balance, but in posture and confidence, too. You might even find unexpected benefits. Some people say their neck feels looser, and their back more relaxed. Others notice a shift in their mindset, less anxiety about falling, and more willingness to move freely. These are victories worth savoring. One of my favorite things about this drill is how adaptable it is. You can do it almost anywhere, by the kitchen counter, in a hallway, or even outdoors on a quiet morning. If you have a friend or partner willing to join, practice together. Trade stories, share a laugh when you wobble, and cheer each other on when you succeed. Movement, after all, is as much about connection as it is about strength. For those who might feel discouraged, I want to share one last story. A gentleman named Frank, who spent much of his life as a firefighter, found himself fearful of movement after a bad fall. "I was used to running toward danger," he told me. "But after that, I was scared to stand up too fast." With encouragement, he started practicing the vestibular challenge drill, 1 foot at a time, head turning gently. Progress was slow but steady. One day, he realized he'd made it through an entire day without feeling off balance once. "It was like someone turned the lights back on," Frank said, eyes shining. That's the power of mindful practice. Not perfection, not speed, but small, intentional steps. You deserve to move through your world with confidence, to trust your own body again, and to feel free in every sense of the word. So the next time you find yourself hesitating, worried that turning your head will spin your world, remember, you are not powerless. The same systems that kept you upright through a lifetime of adventure are still within you, ready to be reawakened, one gentle challenge at a time. Start where you are. Celebrate each wobble, each new feeling of steadiness. Give yourself credit for showing up, for choosing to grow, for saying, "I'm not done yet." Because truly, you aren't. With every deliberate turn of your head, every steady breath, and every patient practice, you are building a foundation for freedom. You are teaching your body and your mind that movement can still be joyful, that change is possible, and that confidence is always within reach. The world may spin sometimes, but you are learning, step by step, to spin with it, and to stand tall, right where you are. You've just discovered 3 simple but powerful exercises: heel walks, side-to-side weight shifts, and the vestibular challenge drill, that together create a full-spectrum approach to improving your balance and stability. Each movement targets a different part of your body's incredible system that keeps you steady, confident, and safe. But more than that, they remind you that your body is adaptable, no matter your age. It's never too late to retrain your brain, strengthen your muscles, and regain control over your steps. Remember, the key isn't perfection or pushing yourself too hard. It's consistency and kindness to yourself. Even a few minutes a day, done with focus and care, can lead to real, lasting changes. Imagine moving through your home or neighborhood with ease, without hesitation or fear. Picture the freedom of walking to your mailbox, greeting neighbors, or dancing at family gatherings with confidence and joy. You deserve that freedom. You deserve to feel steady, strong, and alive in your body. So start today. Choose one of these exercises, or try them all, and make a gentle promise to yourself to keep going. Share your progress, your challenges, or your victories with someone you trust. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend or family member who might benefit too. Your journey toward better balance and a fuller, freer life is just beginning. Stay steady, stay strong, and remember, you're not done yet. You're only getting started.